What's up? What's up?
Peekaboo.
Welcome, Black.
Hey.
This week in White Supremacy, but it's Black History Month. Is this gonna be our Blackest episode?
I hope
maybe.
so.
We hope so too. I mean, do me and Farouk have to leave?
Or like a famous Black once said, I hope so.
What?
Kodak Black.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Yes. It's too black for you.
Let me try to bolt.
My name is Siri X. I am co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. And to my immediate right,
I believe in miracles.
audience favorite.
Oh, God, here we go again.
How many texts will I get about how great Miracle is this week?
Star of the show.
The A mic.
All the stars.
The big blessing with the big
So much
blessing.
fun on Sunday
Oh,
for that 15 minutes. That's all I watched part of the Super Bowl.
okay, got you. I mean, that's all that needed to be.
Yeah, we know you don't do the sports.
Yeah.
But
you watched it with a lot of people?
No, I just went out with some fams. And
Okay, and everybody turned up. Yes.
did you have hummus?
keep
What?
playing
What?
with me. It's two weeks
Oh,
in a row.
shit.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
Mashallah, Miracle. She watched it at the mosque.
Keep on.
Oh, shit.
Keep on.
Miracle gonna be like homegirl from Pakistan. She gonna
Listen. First of all,
she
can
have
I
all the
tell you-
suitors.
Oh my
Listen, can I tell you,
Homegirl
like,
came up.
Living
Sis came
the
up.
dream. First
Yeah.
Pakistan, now she's in Dubai.
Right, she's in Dubai.
Just like making friends, having fun, getting food, just like chilling.
And the Arab men are on her. Like they want to marry
All
her.
she had to do was like say, "Run me my coin."
Run me my money. Yeah.
Man.
Just
Yeah,
in
she's-
hospitality, love, and support. Look,
The movie about her life, like the that's gonna be amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be hella-
where is my husband? I'm like,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
my queen.
Yes.
Yes.
Man.
And my brother.
You know, we back black and beautiful, you know what I'm saying?
I like that.
The blackest month of the year.
Yes.
The blackest fits. We all got the black
we all did wear black
shit,
today.
man.
Look at us.
Yeah, you feel me? It's
Took us, we've been in office for an hour.
It's your boy Trouble and Less. Never like supremacy. Next level serene. You already know the vibes.
Niggas love Super Bowl.
I'm gonna have to sit with that one for
Okay, got you. Yeah, because Kendrick was the opposite of chill. Whatever the chill guy is, like the 1,000% opposite was Kendrick at the halftime show. And my brother.
Supreme Asiatic Intelligently Divine.
Yes.
Full-time supervillain, part-time hater, the toxic one from Toronto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you
Pro Kendrick in this situation?
No, I was gonna say, did Toronto take a loss, or was it just the loss was just solely on that dude, that guy?
Yeah, I'll never disparage the city.
Got you.
Yeah, the city's never taken losses, man.
Yeah,
we influence the world.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, somebody texted me like, it was a dark day for light-skinned.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, for biracials, okay? Don't put me into that.
I seen someone said that one of my friends posted up, it was like, Patrick Mahomes is white biracial. If you get it, you get it. I was like, she ain't wrong.
I mean,
She ain't wrong.
Mahomes and Drake.
MAGA Mahomes.
They both were exposed. You know what I'm saying? And the Super Bowl became this moment of blackness.
Yeah.
With, Jalen Hurts. Again, you had sent the clip, Farouk, where you had Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes responding to Trump being there.
Yeah, and Mahomes essentially did like a very veiled support.
He basically, he was like, yo, he was like kind of happy.
Yeah.
And obviously, like Patrick Mahomes' wife just went full MAGA.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? She went full MAGA. He ain't divorced.
Fried chicken. Yo, that's grounds for divorce right there. You ain't gonna embarrass me on camera.
But so
It's the fact that they left that in that interview.
yes, they did. Yes. Like,
I would have been like, no, y'all can't.
you
take
have,
that out.
you gotta take that out. That's a great
1,000%.
point, Miracle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like you said about Patrick Mahomes,
Yes.
white
Yeah.
biracial, I get it. And then obviously, like once the game was a blowout, which it was like at
From
halftime.
the first, I would say from
It was
the
at
first half.
halftime.
Yeah,
And
24
again,
nothing and a half.
shout out to Jalen Hurts. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles.
He had what?
Our state mates.
Yeah,
Our state mates. Other side.
There was not one ugly man on the Philadelphia Eagles team.
I agree with that.
They
agree with
listen, fine. all the men.
I thought you didn't do the sports.
I don't do the sports, but I do the men's. Okay, so like
You wanted them to take their helmets off, like.
Listen. We talking about like recruiting men to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They have that little billboard. I'm gonna get like a billboard and be like, listen, these are the men
All the men
that we need.
Can we just trade teams?
It's like
Just trade the Steelers for the Eagles.
Miracle
and just
need the
get-
men.
you know what I need is the men's from Philly. But no, it was really
They all
nice.
Muslim too, so you be good.
And
Alhamdulillah. Yes.
oh shit, it's crazy.
Miracle, let's go.
Yes.
But once halftime hit, everybody wanted to see what Kendrick Lamar was going to do.
I wonder if anybody turned their TV off.
Yes.
Yes, there was a guy on tour in Australia.
Yeah, turn the TV off.
Named Aubrey Graham that was like
imagine
ban TVs, like you know what I mean?
imagine him turning his TV off from New Orleans to Sydney. That's crazy.
It's crazy. And so Kendrick, to me, did a phenomenal job. Just even when you saw Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, I was like, okay, this is. It almost was like
Do the right thing.
It reminded me of like a Spike Lee production.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? In the sense of having Samuel L.
It
Jackson.
was meta.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Kendrick kind of, doing kind of the hype songs and Samuel L. Jackson saying that's too ghetto.
Too loud.
Yeah. And then Kendrick kind of slowing it down and bringing SZA out.
That's what America
And he was
wants.
like, yo, you want calm? And then Kendrick doing the song.
Yeah.
That song, yeah.
Teasing the song. Like Drake's lawsuit, making it must see TV. Like Drake suing Kendrick. And for those that don't know, Drake sued Kendrick. Well, he sued the record label, I'm sorry, UMG, for defamation. But it made the Grammys much watch. And it made the Super Bowl must watch because it made you think like, okay, with this lawsuit hanging over these, was Kendrick going to receive these Grammys? And was Kendrick going to do the song at the Super Bowl? Many people, like myself, believe that Drake sued so Kendrick wouldn't perform the song at the Super Bowl. And it actually
worked against him
It made
in
Kendrick's
so many
performance
ways.
so much better. Thank you, Drake.
Stop, he's already dead.
For being the Karen that you are, because it made Kendrick able to tease the performance. And when he finally did it, and the whole stadium, like we knew they would, and everybody around, I wish they had like an ability to put a mic in like everybody's.
Yeah, facts.
So we all were screaming, A minor.
Yo, I think the pettiest thing that the Super Bowl did was like right after the halftime show, they posted how many people were watching it worldwide and from what countries. I'm like,
oh yeah,
this nigga is cooked.
Apple
Every-
Music
worldwide.
tweeting they don't like us.
And every single one of those people screamed A minor.
Yeah, facts.
And ironically, Kendrick was wearing a chain with the lowercase a.
The PG Lang chain,
On the chain.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess thoughts on Kendrick. Do you want to start, Trouble? Thoughts
Man,
on
so I don't know if y'all watched his interview with Timothy Chalamet.
I did not, but I saw that.
No, I didn't pre that.
So I kind of knew what we were in for during that interview because Timothy had asked him, what can we expect? And he was like, you can expect storytelling. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And a lot of people, we were talking before the show about how like y'all thought when it first started, it was kind of slow and boring.
Yes.
But for me as a storyteller and someone who builds set lists to tell the story, I understand why he started it that way.
Yes.
It's like you start it calm, but you have to let it crescendo to a climax.
Yes.
And then you got to let it be resolved at some point.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I think he did a beautiful job of that.
You know what? Now that you break it down like that, it does make me appreciate it more. Because it started slow to me.
Yeah.
And there was a point where I was kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of mid. I actually texted somebody, it seems kind of mid. And then once he hit Euphoria and just those horns, you know what I'm saying? Dun, dun, dun. And then it was just like they were like, it was like they were running towards the camera or something like that. It did start to take up. And once it hit that peak, it was gone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
facts.
Yeah.
So like from a storytelling perspective, I love that. From an artist perspective, all of the different symbols, like when they were standing as the American flag and he was standing in the middle of it.
Yes.
Kind of like, I feel like it represented how America is divided right now.
Yes.
But it also represented how, like, if we're going with the Bloods and Crips theme, him standing in the middle was like the unifier in LA.
Yes.
But this is something that he doesn't have to proclaim to us.
Correct.
It's been proclaimed by his community.
Right.
And he came to the Super Bowl like, yo, I'm bringing LA to the Super Bowl, and I'm
Yes.
just bringing our stories and my neighborhood
Yes.
to a worldwide stage.
Absolutely.
I just thought that was brilliant.
Me too. Miracle? Was there enough good-looking men on this thing?
First of all, yes, when he and his posse
Yes,
were under the street lights, I was like,
And that was
yes.
super dope.
Yes,
That was
yes.
dope.
That was dope.
I also thought that was like a dig at when they were talking about LeBron and his posse a few years ago, and so I was like, oh, okay, Kendrick.
I missed. I didn't.
So I think I forgot what person it was, but he was talking about how LeBron.
Oh
has his
yeah,
posse
yeah. Had his-
whenever
yeah.
he goes around.
Yes.
And there was this white man who was like upset that like LeBron had like so many black people.
Yes.
In the stands, in the front row, and
They're
it was
all
like,
probably worth
millions
and
Yeah,
millions.
but it
and
doesn't
millions.
matter. Doesn't matter to that.
I
white dude.
liked the show. Now, I have a problem with black people in Americana.
Okay. And you said this before.
I have said this before
Yes.
because I don't think it is our need to use our art to reclaim the red, white, and blue.
Right.
Now, had he at the very end had everybody in black like take over the red, white, and blue,
Yes.
I would have been like, okay, I get it, Kendrick, I like it.
Right.
But whether it is Beyonce, whether it is Kendrick, I just be like, no.
Yes.
Especially in these trying times,
Right.
making black people the face of patriotism and like the history and the love of this country. I just feel like you're fighting to love something that doesn't love you back.
Yes.
And I just have a problem with that. So parking lot,
think-
that part.
Can I just
I have a
say that?
response to that as well.
Me too. So I don't think that's what he was doing. To me, I don't think Kendrick was trying to reclaim. I think, and again, this is afterwards, and I had to kind of, I didn't know at the time that Kendrick is operating on some, like there was a PlayStation controller. And so to me, it was like the American game. And here he's like, we're as black people like stuck inside of this American game. So I didn't see it as him trying to claim patriotism or that, but him basically saying like, positioning like how black people get trapped and stuck inside of this American game. That's kind of how I viewed it. Not necessarily like him trying to take back patriotism or like Beyonce, Beyonce on a white horse with a flag is more so like what you're saying. I thought Kendrick was actually doing something that was more subversive, similar to like how you have a Bruce Springsteen had Born in the USA, that being subversive. I thought Kendrick was being subversive.
Yeah, I think his use of red, white, and blue was a critique of America.
Yeah.
In a way, and he criticized America in a way that wasn't so overt that they'd be like, oh, fuck you, we're never inviting you back to the Super Bowl. But it was like, I'm on this stage and people would love to see these colors represented, but I'm going to spin the meaning a little bit for y'all.
Yeah, even Uncle Sam representing like how America sees us. Like, oh, we want you to be calm. Like when he was with his posse, he was like, well, you lose one life or something like to that effect.
One life subtracted.
Yeah, one life subtracted. So I do, but I like your point is whole validated, but parking like that, what else?
Okay. So I like the fact that he introduced like Gil Scott Heron.
Yes.
Gil Scott Heron?
So Gil Scott Heron, yes. Go ahead.
There he fucking goes again.
There he goes.
There
Yeah.
he goes.
I've just never heard it
Anyways,
said like that
That's
before.
how I say it. To like the world.
Yes.
Because everybody kept saying like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like I've seen so many people like, who is this
wow.
person? What do you mean the revolution will not be televised?
Interesting.
So like that introducing like him to a whole, cause that's a very, I don't know, niche
Yes.
album
Yeah.
and art.
And then even if you get into the Last Poets, I mean, some very revolutionary work that should be reexamined, particularly now in this dispensation of time. I agree.
I also like SZA because she was so beautiful.
SZA's
Yeah,
beautiful.
she is.
And she's just like super chill, like having fun.
Such a
But
wonderful song.
I did like, and this is part of why I think Kanye was like tripping all week,
Yes.
is that he literally took that aesthetic and showed like how it could work and make sense and make a point of having like multiple people, multiple dancers.
Yes.
Because Kendrick has done this before. He has really amazing stage presence with a lot of dancers. You've like watched like his Paris show and everything.
Yes.
And you really got to see his like creativity, because I think a lot of times when people see rappers, they don't think of a performance. And the fact that he was running back and forth, like that was endurance, that was stage presence, that was breath control. I would pass out. Like by the second song, I'm like, sorry, I can't do this.
Right.
So I really like that. And I did like how he broke down a lot of his songs and changed the melodies. So it was like, okay, I'll make it like a little more, palatable for y'all. But then people were like, I don't know what he says. What does this mean? And that was cracking me up. But people were literally, somebody was like, I need a cultural interpreter.
That video where the black guy was explaining to the white guy like why Kendrick was doing
all this
not like us and what not like us meant. That was crazy. Yeah.
Somebody was like, why is Serena, like all these different things.
Right,
so why is there a street lamp? I don't get it. Like,
it was very much like for us.
Yes. And so it was very interesting, like watching people have to learn about black culture like in real time.
Yeah.
And trying to understand like all these cultural references, and people like, I still don't think I've gotten like all the cues from that. But I really did like it. And then him and Mustard together, like that is they just like two people, like, and then it just shows that you can have friends, you can go through things, you can be successful, and you can grow up with the people you grew up with, and it's just like good. And so that was like my favorite part when he brought out Mustard.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think because the part where he said, say Drake, and looked at the camera with the most menacing smile, like a smile, but like an evil.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost like I felt for a second like bad for like, damn, like
it's over for you.
Wow.
Officially.
And just how he even did, and the just that part, the camera work of that. And like you said, the choreography of the dancers walking behind him and doing the little dance with him, to like the camera like spinning around the way it is. Again, his creativity was on full display. I agree.
And I wanna add that, like, I hope people realize how historic this moment is, because we've never seen anything like this in rap beef. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, bro, you have at what could have been, that this wasn't the start of the beef, but at some point in the beef, you have Drake and J. Cole saying biggest the what?
Yes, big as the Super Bowl. Yes.
And then you have Kendrick, who goes on this insane diss track run.
Yes.
Drops Not Like Us.
Yes.
Gets announced that he's performing at the Super Bowl. We watch him perform at the Super Bowl.
After winning 5 Grammys.
Yes. For the diss track against Drake. And then he says his name and looks at the camera.
And Trouble. Kendrick Lamar streams for Not Like Us soar 430%.
Man.
That's what the Super Bowl's supposed to do,
That
isn't
is
it?
insane. Oh, one more before I get to you. Did people recognize it was historic, Trouble? How about this tweet? Hundreds of dancers and participants in this halftime show, and they can't manage to feature one single white person?
Oh, yeah, that was
wow.
This is pathetic. And somebody responded, did you want some diversity, equity, and inclusion in the halftime show? Oh, now you want DEI? I guess they didn't meet the merit, huh? Sorry. Farouk, how did Canada take this halftime show?
Well, I'm not going to speak for the whole country, but I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I don't put Kendrick on this pedestal to where like I'm expecting him to make these, massive political indictments and, these, you know what I mean, a diorama of America at the Super Bowl.
And there's a question of, should we expect that from our artists, right?
I mean, maybe some, but not Kendrick. But what I appreciated was it, and, we talked about this offline, coming from where we come from. Like, I looked at this as like a celebration of neighborhood culture. Right. Celebration of Black Americana.
Yes.
Which is very much a niche navigation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I looked at this, I was like, I pre this on a different level. I seen all these, man, with your 7-paragraph think pieces on Facebook and, your diatribes. No one asked you. No one cares, nigga. Like, you're just trying to get clicks off Kendrick one way or the other.
Yes.
Right.
And there is that place of you can't win. Like, it's like, oh, so you want him to be so revolutionary,
right,
that he loses all of his ability to make mainstream music.
Right.
Like, what do we want?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of the thing. It's like us being us and me being who I am. Like, we have our contacts in, you know, different areas of the world. So I got into it with, you know, someone's former publisher on Sunday about this. And then I had a conversation last night with a very successful music artist. And we had a lot of good discourse about it. But my ending statement was this: Kendrick did exactly what Kendrick Lamar was going to do, supposed to do, and should have done.
Yeah.
Right? Which is be a rapper and perform on the largest stage in the world. And as a rapper, he reminded everybody that rap is very much a contact sport. And if you don't like it, take your ball and go home.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Well, and then also, I think, to Treble's point, it was a very, and the Miracle's point, it was a black show.
It was a black as fuck show.
To where, Serena crip walking is something, it's like a black moment when Serena crip walk at, I don't know, it was a US Open or one of those, or when she won the Olympics, I think. And when she wanted to go to the Olympics, I think that's when she crip walked, and she got vilified.
Right.
At that time for doing that dance at the or misrepresenting. So there was also that part of it. So the fact that Kendrick also, which is what he's been doing in this battle, has been saying, like, I represent black culture.
Right. And it's,
you represent, and to Drake, like, you represent something else.
Yes.
And so he leaned fully into his blackness. And there was a part of it where, like Miracle said, if you weren't in tune, aligned with, or understand black culture, it was just mad shit that you missed
and
or didn't understand or needed translated.
Go ahead, Miracle.
Somebody was like, why didn't he perform all right? And it was like, he's teaching us what we need to do for the next 4 years, which is fight back and be petty and don't
choose
take
violence.
anything
Choose violence
for granted, right? And I really like that.
I like that sense.
Right, because that's what he's doing. Yes, he could have done a very political thing, but I also remember the last time that happened as BET Awards, and a lot of folks were saying we didn't want to be traumatized in art. We didn't want to turn on to see a concert and be traumatized and see violence.
That was when Lil Baby did the thing.
We live it a lot. And so I do think that
that's a great point.
There is a subversive way to do art. I just think that right now, that red, white, and blue is just, it makes people automatically kind of like shy away and miss the point. And then you have to like come back and watch, right? Because there is a story, there is a visual to there. And, obviously there was the dancer who did the protest as well.
That's what I was going to mention. There was somebody who snuck in
a Muslim brother,
a flag that was the flag of Sudan and Gaza that are similarly
Palestine. Looking
flags. Well, it says, Palestine, but it said Sudan and Gaza on it, but Sudan. And thank you for that correction.
Yeah.
And, that wasn't planned, but took that moment, was arrested, and, they dropped the charges against him. And so then that also becomes
Kendrick should have said that was part of the set.
Again, but
Rock Nation was like, absolutely not, because they're trying.
Yeah, exactly. Or everybody loses. Then Jay-Z's not doing the Super Bowl. Then who's performing at halftime?
Right. Yeah.
A Coldplay or some motherfucking band that we don't want to watch. Right.
Yeah. I like Coldplay. I'm not.
What I do think about that moment was that, like, if this performance was a critique of America, that was beautifully delivered.
Yes.
Because seeing bro pull out the flag and then be chased and arrested for it.
Yes.
On live television.
Talking about meta.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It would have been crazy if Samuel L. Jackson came back on the screen and was like, get that nigga. Like, that would have been like super crazy, right?
Because then you would have been like, yo, is this part of the show?
Yo, that's
you know what I mean? Like,
shit.
And again, like, but again, that's our resistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
As black people, oftentimes, and I do want to say this because as black Americans, oftentimes we will put our bodies and our livelihoods on the line for other communities. And I don't think we get enough credit for that.
Absolutely.
That so often, because we understand what oppression feels like, we will take those risks. And that brother took a huge risk thankfully, and so I just want in the pantheon of the conversation, you gotta like Black Americans have consistently put our bodies and livelihoods on the line for other communities and communities that also are inherently anti-Black. So I do just want to bring that up.
And in Louisiana, of all places, like Louisiana,
I didn't even think about that.
Two places you never want to catch.
You don't never want to go to jail. And I never thought about that. That's crazy.
But I did obviously I like the Super Bowl because I think it was really, real Black.
Yes.
I liked Jalen. I liked the Philly winning.
Yes.
I liked, everybody in the locker room popping bottles and smoking cigars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And our community adjacent Italian, brothers are out there with their flags and having a good time because the Phillies coach is Italian.
Yes.
I think they said he was one of the first Italian, recently one of the first Italian people to get the Lombardi trophy.
Oh, wow.
Which is named after another Italian person. So it was a really good historic.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Evening. But then my favorite person is Gilly. And he has
That's an interesting favorite person.
No, because he has
basically... Not Wallow, but Gilly. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Miracle. Because you like big hats. You like niggas in big hats.
Because he has been the de facto cheer coach.
Yes.
For the Phillies, and especially after the passing of his son, and how he has been that they have let him be a father figure to the team, and to just see him so happy.
Yes.
And to see him so respected, and everybody running up to hug him, and made me really, really happy. And I was just just showing everyone that there's love and life and happiness and success on the other side of tragedy.
True.
I think it was just a very beautiful story, overall, even with Jalen's story as well.
And like you said, with all the bullshit and all the trauma that's happened since we've entered into this Trump presidency, it was a moment of Black joy. Mm-hmm. It was almost like a brief reprieve, you know what I'm saying, of an oasis, if you will, of Black joy in the midst of all of this craziness. And, to even put even more Black joy, to put some gravy on it, right? Trump got booed, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Trump went out there and, although Trump talked about Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift got booed and you got booed as well. Did you want to play that clip of Trump walking out and...
I knew it! Thank you, girl! You're a fucking traitor! 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 You're a traitor! 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 You're a fucking traitor!
Yeah, that's right. That's the energy. Whoever that was.
You're a traitor! You're a traitor!
I think we get it. But Trump specifically went out and shook the hand of he was rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they got destroyed. And supposedly he left early, you know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know, it'd be interesting if the Chiefs had won, would he have came out? Would they have invited?
That'd have been crazy.
That'd have been crazy. But guess what? Didn't happen. Black team won. The black guy, I guess they said he left 2 minutes before halftime was over.
Trump?
I guess Kendrick was too much. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, shout out to those people that booed Donald Trump, but we're still, okay. And then you had mentioned, I guess we.
What's crazy?
What?
What's the president's official title in the military?
Commander-in-Chief.
Commander-in-Chief, yeah.
Commander-in-Chief.
Yes.
Was at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And the Chiefs lost.
Oh, come on, Trouble.
Man.
Come on, man.
That would have been crazy if they lost the Commanders.
and it was what's interesting is also
they lost to the Eagles. Do we see American symbolism?
Come on,
wow.
Man.
But it's wild because also the whole thing
Sound
was
like Hidden Colors.
The whole thing was Elon, and then was cutting waste, and it took, I guess, $20 million. It cost $20 million for Trump to even be there.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it is kind of why you spend all that money and you didn't get any return. You brought up Kanye. There was also this conversation about Kanye, and Kanye went on not just a Twitter spree, which he did. I mean, crash out isn't even
I'm about to say
the proper word to use for what Kanye, but many people thought this was because Kendrick had this moment that Kanye always wanted, right? Kendrick wins all of these Grammys and then performs at the Super Bowl. And that was a moment that Kanye wanted. And so Kanye tried to upstage the Grammys by bringing out his wife and having her be naked. And then,
she's been naked for the past year, though, to be fair.
True, but to have her naked on the record, many people thought that he was trying to upstage the Grammys. And then that he was tweeting this to upstage the Super Bowl, but he went and proclaimed that he was a Nazi.
Yeah.
He proclaimed that he loved Hitler again.
Did you see that
He
Bill
actually
Burr
said,
skit?
well, yes.
Where he's like,
yes.
if you put this ego in a white guy, you
Yes.
get Hitler.
Bill Burr called this in 2017.
2017, man.
About Kanye, but also Kanye said Elon took his Nazi swag.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, and then it culminated in Kanye putting a swastika shirt in his store.
Yeah.
And at that point, I guess Elon had enough, and whoever owned the store, Shopify had enough, and everything's been shut down. Any commentary on? I mean, we already knew Kanye was a white supremacist. We talk about it on this show that you don't have to be. It was like almost like Kanye did a performance the opposite of Kendrick.
Well, you know, he said that was his favorite Super Bowl performance ever.
Again, well, I don't know, because then you turn around and I don't know if Kanye is. I mean, he's leaning into white supremacy to another level.
I'll send you a video. He put a video out.
Again,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as what Kanye says, I guess I look at, I can't take
Two-part video.
I can't take what Kanye says seriously.
Yeah.
Because you do all of these and you're doing all of this stuff.
He's a Gemini, man.
Nah,
It's
bro.
the Tony
no,
Lauren
no.
of it all. This idea that you default to white supremacy in order to get clicks and views when you cannot, by your own talent and merit, just get the love and support and appreciation that you feel like you deserve. And so I think that whenever Kanye wants to make a point, he'll basically just say something very bigoted and very mean-spirited and very targeted to a racial ethnic group or a group of folks, and hope that the rage bait will like feed his ego.
Yes.
And now people will just like, oh, that's Kanye. Now that's the problem. When you're always just like yelling and screaming, you're dismissed again, because now that's just like Kanye being Kanye. Nobody cares anymore, right? So you want to be out there yelling and screaming and saying stuff about Jewish people, saying stuff about fat people, saying stuff about like other folks, and talking about Virgil. You know,
that was crazy.
That's not going to fly.
Right.
So
and also like you see, like you said, like weaponizing, talking about like, oh, I've put my hands on women as well, in his defense of Puff, calling for Puff to be freed and using the video of Cassie being beaten. I mean, it's just like, what is the point of all of this?
I think Kanye is a representation of a Trump presidency, in the fact that like a Trump presidency emboldens white supremacist rhetoric, much like what Kanye was doing on X.
Yes.
I felt like, I feel like anytime Trump is in office, Kanye feels emboldened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, my shield is in office. All right, cool. I can do what I want now.
Right. My man Elon is running X. So I can say as crazy of things that I want, and I'm not going to be checked. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's like, I guess I look at it as somebody who was a fan of Kanye. It's like, if you're going to use your fame, your notoriety, and your platform to promote people like Nick Fuentes, who's just an absolute, white supremacist, and this whole white supremacist ideology to the point where you're selling swastika shirts, I gotta jump off. You know what I'm saying? Again, like, but there is this whole conversation about the backlash Kanye got as opposed to the backlash that the Elon got, which was very different. And I do think that is a conversation, because to me, they're the same. They're very much the same. But yeah, I can't do it. Do you have anything?
What do you want me to say?
Absolutely nothing.
And hip blackness is a difference, right? We've always seen that, right? When people will sit there and say that Kanye is the most violent anti-Semite, when there are literally people who've picked up guns and killed Jewish people,
right?
Who are still living. There are people who literally advocate for like the murder and the erasure.
Just happened a few years ago. Happened down the street from here. Someone walked into a synagogue and killed Jewish people.
Yes. Yes.
So there is always going to be a difference, and I think it's people always fear black rage instead of white violence. Ooh. And so when Kanye goes off, it is this idea that he is going to inspire other people to do harm because black people are violent and scary and mean and harmful. Yeah. And then that's something that it's easy to sit there and condemn Kanye. But Elon, he's a billionaire.
Right.
A billionaire who you depend on, who you need for your views, who you need to be famous and popular. You can't condemn him, even though Elon is actually amplifying white supremacist rhetoric, even though Elon is amplifying people that deny the Holocaust, that talk about killing Jewish people, that talk about Jewish people not really existing, that he has amplified more white supremacist rhetoric than anyone in the past 5 years. Yeah. However, because he is a smart man, no one sees him as being violent and dangerous. He brought all those people back to the platform, gave them a blue check, pushed them into people's feeds so 100%. They can show their policy. Meanwhile, everybody has distanced themselves from Kanye. Everybody has condemned his rhetoric. Everybody has condemned his anti-Semitism. Everybody has done that. And people now know like what Kanye is doing is bad. Yes. But for all these other folks who he's pushing out and platforming and who he's talking about killing people and harming people and saving, the white race, that's okay for folks.
And not only
that creates like the issue of where people are sitting there saying, okay, well, if when Kanye does it, it's bad and this white person does it, it's good, maybe I'll just find more white people to say this bad thing instead of me saying it. And that is like the problem. Instead of saying nobody should be doing this and everybody should have the same equal consequences.
Yes. Not only that, right? But Elon is actually in a position where he's really like destroying the government right before us. So not only is Elon platforming these white supremacists and racists, he has them actually working on his Doge team. One dude was some 19-year-old that's working on his team that was like fired from exposing like secrets in his last job. Another one who's 25-year-old put out a series of tweets where he said one of the tweets were, I was racist before it was cool. Another tweet was normalize Indian hate.
Wow.
And so when he left Doge, it was JD Vance, who has an Indian wife and Indian children, who
just the irony of that,
who literally called for this man to be rehired.
Well, JD Vance famously said, my wife is not white. Says my wife's not white.
Yeah.
He just othered his wife. What do we expect here? Like, what do white people,
he said, this other guy also said, you couldn't pay me to marry outside my ethnicity.
I'm not that upset at that.
Again,
you probably couldn't pay them to marry you.
True indeed. But it's also like, but if you're JD Vance and you're married outside of your ethnicity, and you have these children that are also Indian,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, and this was JD Vance's quote. His quote was, here's my view. I obviously disagree with and the guy's name is Mark Ells, some of Ells' posts, but I don't think stupid social media activity can ruin a kid's life.
No.
Right? And this goes right to Miracle's point, right? Now, right. Kanye's social media is dangerous and harmful and should be blocked. But then this kid, he's 25 years old. He's not a kid.
No.
Right? But this man, he is stupid social media activity. And he says we shouldn't reward journalists who try to destroy people ever. So I say bring him back. If he's a bad dude, a terrible member of the team, fire him for that.
And this is such a fascinating discourse and a time to be alive and to speculate on this American experience, because just in the not too distant past, we seen Colin Kaepernick make a silent protest.
Yes.
And kneel and not say a fucking thing.
Not say a word.
And be crucified,
blackballed,
everything,
yes.
right? Buck broke his miracle, like they say, everything.
Yes.
Like they dragged him every possible way,
yes,
as you could do a modern day Nat Turner,
yes,
right? But Elon Musk, JD Vance, Donald Trump, Nick Fuentes, whomever else,
white privilege,
can take a stage and vehemently spew rhetoric that's not only anti-Semitic, call for people to storm a Capitol, call for a political insurrection or a coup, call for the murder of people, threaten the erasure of an entire country, practice ethnic cleansing, and yet there's no recourse.
None.
There's nothing.
No.
But Cap, right, in all of his regularities as a man, seen an opportunity to make a silent protest, minding really his business, because it wasn't until that photo came out while he was kneeling on the bench, not even on the sideline,
he was sitting,
on the bench, did it become a media story.
And actually took a knee because I think a Marine, former veteran, told him that was a more respectful way, to protest than sitting on the bench.
Right. And this is such a fascinating moment now because there's, even on this show, there's discourse around the privilege and the liberties that white men get to operate under.
1000%.
As violent as that umbrella is, as long as it's conducted under the umbrella of whiteness, it's fine.
So another representative who is an Indian American, Ro Khanna, asked JD Vance this, quote, "Are you going to tell him to apologize for saying normalize Indian hate before this rehire? Just asking for the sake of both of our kids."
Ooh.
Right? Wait, listen.
Wait to the response.
JD Vance says, "For the sake of both of our kids, grow up. Racist trolls on the internet, while offensive, don't threaten my kids. You know what does? A culture that denies grace to people who make mistakes. A culture that encourages congressmen to act like whiny children."
So what are you going to tell your daughters when they come home and they've been victimized from a hate crime, or they've had something thrown at them,
Tell them to suck it up.
They've been violently or physically abused? Like,
I mean, again, they can't come to him. He's already defended mad racism towards all types of immigrants.
I just wonder, when they grow up, what do they say?
They just had Indian immigrants chained on a plane for 40 hours. He's not coming to defend no Indian people, and neither of his wife. So
JSK
you can cut them off.
Told y'all the racism just bounces off.
Oh, RFK. You always call him JFK. He's RFK Jr., Miracle.
Who he is now.
Just call him White Dr. Sebi. White Dr. Sebi.
No, first of
He's
all,
RFK Jr.
RFK
Jr.
to have to teach black kids to just let the racism bounce off.
And they'll be like the Avengers. They'll be the Avengers.
You know, this is this idea of you don't tell white people not to be racist. You just teach black and brown people how to deal with the racism.
How to navigate it.
And how to ignore it. Not even navigate it, just ignore it. Because it's okay to be racist online. It's okay to be racist in public. But then when you want to pull up to Cincinnati and do that, and the black people want to show up with their guns and their arms, now what's the problem?
Now you running.
Now
you running into the police arm. Now you calling for the cops.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, what about my freedom and my liberties? And now it's like black people being violent and ghetto again. Right? And so
shout out to those black people too in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah,
black people would just let us call them slurs. If black people just let us disrespect them and call them welfare queens and talk about how they have no jobs and they don't contribute anything. If they would just let us do that and stop fighting back, we wouldn't have to worry about DEI. We wouldn't have to worry about indoctrination. We wouldn't have to worry about, injustice and equality if black people just let us be our white supremacist authentic selves.
Even when white men are violent towards, like you said, black people, Jewish people, like we've seen mass killers. We just saw like a black child who was influenced by Candace Owens and all of this white supremacy rhetoric go to his school and shoot another black student, right? So clearly this
that had
stuff,
to be the first time that ever happened.
Right, but clearly this is something that is influencing people to be violent in real life. Again, like you said, people now are flying swastikas all over the place. And so again, Yeah, you were saying trouble?
I was going to say this rhetoric particularly pisses me off because it's not like, I hate how JD Vance is trying to minimize it as just, you know, social media trolling. It's like, this isn't just trolling. And even if it is, we can't minimize the fact that this man is putting his thoughts and beliefs on the internet.
Yes.
And this is someone that you want to hire for a government position.
Yes. No, it's not wanting. He's working there and they're currently they currently have access to all of our information right now.
So it's like, we can't minimize this because if these are the views that he's putting on the internet, then these are the views that he's moving through everyday life.
Yes.
With. These are the views that if anything comes up about black people or Indian people, these are the views that he's behaving off of.
Yeah.
Behavioral psychologists have literally told us that the way people behave is directly linked to the things that they believe.
100%.
So if he's revealing to us the things that he believes, and you're putting him in a position to have access to people's information that, you know, we know now that he hates and wants to normalize hating.
Yes.
Why would we want him in this position?
Correct. And it almost even in one way almost seems like a distraction, like from actually what's happening, which is Elon shutting down the consumer financial watchdog group that got $20 billion for regular American citizens who were like defrauded by these different scams online. Elon wanting to shut that down. Elon wanting to shut down OSHA, which protects workers, right? I think that's what it is, right? OSHA, wanting to shut that down, right? Wanting to shut down U.S. aid and all of these things, right? Under the guise of saving money. But it's really about like, we're going to stop helping black and brown countries that are facing famine or medical issues. Kill that. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, while at the same time, there's no eggs and we don't know how bad bird flu could possibly maybe be. I mean, so it is wild that we have to.
The reason we don't have eggs?
That's one of the reasons. But
bird
so
flu, inflation, we can't. You know, you can't import eggs if you're fighting with the other countries that have, you know, the healthy birds. So I think that's what it's almost like it's so much fighting. We like, what fight do we choose?
It's what it's like waking up black in America every day. What fight do we choose?
I was talking to my Lyft driver and he was like, since 2003, nothing has been good in this country.
I mean,
it's like crisis after crisis after crisis.
He's not wrong.
And it's wild because on one hand, you also have JD Vance basically saying that Trump has the power to ignore judges.
Yes.
That his executive order supersedes a federal judge because a federal judge has challenged Trump on birthright.
Yeah.
A federal judge challenged Trump shutting down some of these agencies, right? And said, no, you can't just not fund stuff. And then on the other hand, Donald Trump did another interview. I mean, this if you got a mic, Trump is going to jump on it.
Facts.
He just wanted to be a theater major and was not allowed.
And in his full orange makeup regalia, he had this to say about JD Vance. It's your dad.
View Vice President JD Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028? No. Do you view Vice President JD Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028? No.
They need to make one of those like dances to that. No. So again, it's like you put your man, I don't know. Thoughts on
the Kia song?
Yes.
You put your trust in how you figure. But no, I think that Trump is smart. He used JD Vance for a particular reason.
Yes.
But he has not forgotten that JD Vance said he was Hitler. And so he is not going to use JD Vance to take up after him. He was there to serve a purpose, to get the never Trumpers on board, and to show that he could take criticism and moved on.
Yeah, it seems like that is the case. JD
Vance is a sad case, man. Like, seeing his run in this entire presidential campaign,
sad case.
it's just been like, you've let this man disrespect you day after day, and you still ride as his vice president.
I mean, again, it's like what some folks are willing to do.
What do you expect from someone who fuss couches?
Exactly. But it's also a question of like what folks are willing to do for power and to keep their position. One such folk is currently the mayor of New York City. And so we saw Eric Adams, you know what I'm saying? Like, we saw him turn towards Trump.
Have I ever said on the show how much I hate that nigga?
I mean, you know, it is
Powerful.
when you're black and you see a black person like be so craven for like power that they would like sacrifice their own community. Yeah, it's like worse. It's like, damn, bro, like you come from these communities we come from. You know what I'm saying? You from Southside Jamaica, Queens. You grew up in this era, but you want so badly to have power. And not only did Trump dismiss charges against Eric Adams, supposedly they said Trump is changing the law where you can take a bribe from a federal government. I mean, from a international government.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
You know what I'm saying? And so like the fact that
fuck law and order, like
right. And this was, remember, this is the police. These are motherfuckers that claim law and order, and you broke the law.
I mean,
what do we do? What do we do now?
You know what we do? We say fuck these niggas and go to face.
I knew you were about to say that. But I think it shows again when we talk about why it's so hard to get rid of white supremacy.
Yes.
It protects until it spits out. And here, you know, Eric Adams was almost about to have to resign.
Yes.
Was almost about to be facing jail time.
Yes.
Serious jail time. He was like,
Trump was too. Yeah.
He was like, well, let me go kiss the ring and promise to throw these brown people on a plane so you could deport them, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
And so they basically said, you know what? Eric Adams is essential to doing these mass deportations, so we gotta drop these charges and let him stay there. And so I think it shows like how white supremacy is actually working.
Yes.
And like how people are able to weaponize communities against each other.
Yeah.
In order to let white supremacy like flourish a little bit.
Yeah. And it's also this piece of where Trump, as this gangster, right? It's like nearness to him means you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Because he has the power of pardon. He pardoned the former Illinois governor, who also basically tried to sell a senacy. Give me $15 million to my campaign and you could be the senator. You know what I'm saying? Pardon that dude.
I mean, this is America. This is literally in the fabric of America. So the thing is, it's like, yeah, all of this shit is deplorable and everything, but it does call attention to the fallibility of the political process.
Yes.
The laughability of the fact that people think that there's some moral high ground that politicians are beholden to.
Yes.
Like, everything is for sale. This is America.
Yes.
Like, and that's what you masquerade on the global scale, that you can literally come here and be anything if you got enough money.
Yeah, it's definitely like mask off. For white supremacy in a way to where, you know, it's like, but it's going to be.
You're finding out, like, it's like the Wizard of Oz thing. You're pulling back the curtain and you're seeing there's a man back there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And he's doing all kinds of madness.
And they only want, but I guess the question I have, and I don't know if folks can answer, is one, like, what are obviously like the ripple effects going to be?
It's tidal waves throughout these
right.
ponds.
So like what? Because they on one hand they were saying, even now they were saying like internationally, and you had made this as you know, if we want to go on Miracle is Right, you had made this statement prior to the election that if Trump gets elected, that it would break down the international community. Now the international community is saying, yo, this dude is threatening us. Like Canada is basically saying this man is violating international law by keep telling people like he gonna make us a state. Like he's telling Canada, yo, we just gonna take you over. Greenland, we just gonna take you over. So now these other governments across the world are like, what's to say? He's saying to Gaza, yo, we're gonna take Gaza and nobody is not gonna be allowed back in. Like, oh, well, what about the people that live there? Will they be allowed back in? No. We're going to take it and do what we want with it. So it's like maybe,
you know what I'm saying, Gaza becomes the 51st state.
But again, but who's going to live like an absence of Palestinians that live there?
For all
like,
the students.
what recompense do the people that live there get?
None. And for all the students of history, this really is how the Roman Empire fell. They spread themselves so thin. They annexed so many properties and destroyed barriers and made everything under this homogeny of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
That it collapsed under the weight of its own existence.
Yeah.
What, year 250?
Yeah.
And we're in what, year 248?
Yeah. Like it's like this is really, yeah, it's
We are. I mean, we're watching
you know, like what there was the thing, remember we said that who was it? Said Hulk Hogan said Trump was going to end racism or whatever.
Yeah. And you and Miracle agreed.
I am starting.
You agreed, I think, right?
Yeah, I agree, because now the world is kind of uniting against America in a way that's like
That part.
Hey, it's like, you know what? The thing is like, I tell people this all the time. Americans don't like to travel the world because they see how the world views them and they get othered the moment they step into another country. Nick, am I right or am I right? Like, the world hates Americans. So when Americans step off the plane and go someplace, they are automatically recognized that, hey, you're dumb and you're going to spend money, so we're going to welcome you. But your culture, check that shit at the door. And now the world is galvanizing and saying, you know what? Fuck USA. Like, we knew who you've been the whole time. Now you have a very easy target for us to rally against, and it's that orange nigga in the White House.
Yes.
So now what we going to do, we're revoking visas. We're going to make it difficult for you to travel here. We're going to not accept your passports. We're not going to accept the American dollar, right? They're going to do everything they can to, and guess what? I got 2 passports. I'm never going to jail. Fuck it.
That's why we try to find a husband that has like a different passport so that can still travel.
There were signs in Canada. There was like a sign they showed in Canada that was like advertising a product, and they were like made with 0% American cheese.
I mean, buy Canadian. Listen, I get it.
0% American.
I get it.
I think Biden set this up, right?
Yeah, Biden threw it off the backboard. No, you're 1,000% correct, because Biden threw it off the backboard and Trump windmill dunked from the free throw line. Like,
take your shots.
This was a 1-2 effort, man.
Did you think you were gonna get to an episode without Biden getting blamed? Not if Miracle's here.
That's the reason I got sick last week was Biden and DEI.
But planes are falling, right? So now we can't travel.
Yeah,
right.
Trains, automobiles, nothing is working, so we're gonna be stuck here.
Yeah.
Then culturally, people do not like Americans, so nobody's gonna want to come help us.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna want to come save us.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna be like all we had was London. Think about it. The world fell apart in America when Harris lost, and all we had was London. But you know what, Black Americans, y'all can move here. Yes. Only London. Yeah. And then we out here beefing with them, talking about we're gonna raise tariffs and stuff. Yeah. On them.
London's a city in England.
Yeah.
Which
UK, you know what?
You're just proving that Americans don't know geography. That's what you're doing.
Wow.
No, I'm just thinking about, Keir Starmer and where are they at? So London, that's what I'm thinking about.
City of London, yes.
The people.
Yes.
There.
And I'm
you want to say UK? You want to say Great Britain? What do you want me to say?
Well, they're all different things.
You just wanted to call me stupid on the podcast when I was making a point.
There's a difference between the UK. There's a difference between Great Britain. There's a
what do you want me to refer the government to? Since
Parliament.
The Parliament.
Yes.
Okay, now that we're going to be beefing with the Parliament. And David Lammy, does that make you feel better?
You're getting there.
I mean, here's Trump saying.
This is why I can't
Trump
stand
is saying.
I always just try, because he is so sensitive, to be nice to him on the podcast.
Not sensitive.
And he be throwing shots constantly.
Miracle, make your point continue.
Constantly. You want to go home and cry again?
Oh. Whoa! Oh! Wait!
The shades are coming up.
Let's stop. Let's stop.
Okay,
she said he gonna cry in the car.
Not even in the race. Like, oh my gosh! Here,
stop, Miracle. Come on.
Why stop, Miracle? This is what I'm talking about.
Let's go.
No, we're not going to go. We have 5 minutes left.
Let's go.
We have 5 minutes left.
Let's go.
But anyways, no, I forgot my point because I was distracted.
Because it wasn't that good.
And remember.
Oh, clearly.
Wow.
Oh, clearly.
And remember, Miracle shares a birthday with DMX. Okay, so just if you Miracle and
on that
DMX
dog shit.
born on the same day. Just in case you want to know how Miracle gets down. And it's wild because, again, just for those, you know, if you still don't understand.
Don't try to love me now.
If you
don't wind me up because I love you.
If you still, audience, audience, if you still don't understand how white supremacy works,
Miracle showing you by enforcing colorism on this show.
Trump is deporting all black and brown folks, building Guantanamo Bay, but also.
You're trying to gaslight right now?
Can I just make a point?
I want to say
supremacy. Oh no! First of all,
this is what white supremacy does for us.
Society makes men not be good people.
Yes.
This is
absolutely.
An example how white supremacy conditions men to be assholes.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
This
so
is how white supremacy works.
I wanna say to the audience that we have an example
we need the chill guy music.
Of how play the chill guy music.
Where's the chill guy music? For God's sakes.
Listen.
Thank you, Trump.
We can't let white supremacy culture tear us apart. You know, we're in this fight together.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we do have differences. We do have to respect one another as human beings. We have to respect each other's boundaries.
Yes.
And when we don't, as you can see, things get hectic.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
Yes. I was wanted to make a final point about the fact that Trump is putting, you know, Indian immigrants on chained up on planes for 40 hours. Trump is deporting Venezuelans. He's trying to send them to Guantanamo Bay, all these black and brown folks. But at the same time, he signed an executive order, one, accusing the South African government of oppressing white Afrikaners.
White genocide.
And basically setting the table for them to resettle in the United States. So black and brown immigrants bad, but if you are a white South African, you can come here and resettle in the United States if you like.
Wow.
This is how
they're showing why DEI is important, because the only reason they're accepted is because of Elon.
Yes.
And his proximity to Trump.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So with that being said, our white pages this week say Drake.
Another fine man. Another fine man.
LL Cool J presents The Streets Win. And they won this weekend at the Super Bowl. 50 years of hip hop greatness. Shout out to LL Cool J. The Streets Win. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to celebrate 50 years of hip hop. And, you know, as we're continuing to celebrate some black joy that we got this weekend, that's our black pages. Besides the national celebration happening on Saturday, the 15th. What other did you see? Did you see? I want Miracle's face when I said that. Okay. I want the edit camera right on her rolling her eyes. Anything else happening? Anything else going on this weekend?
Our statement of solidarity.
Our statement, our declaration.
Yeah. Did you write that, by the way?
Yes. Miracle wrote it.
Did you run it through Grammarly too?
I made some edits, some slight edits, but that was Miracle.
Why do you have no? Oh my God.
Oh wow. That was some hateration right there.
Always.
Did you run it through Grammarly?
Always.
That's some hate. Wow.
Because you don't want to be in solidarity with people.
Yeah.
Why would I ever want to be in solidarity with anybody?
Exactly.
Because you want to be a grammar
Nazi.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it. Okay. Come on. We're off that. All right. We do have a declaration of solidarity.
Man. That was great.
We do have a declaration of solidarity coming out. If any organizations or folks want to sign on to our declaration of solidarity, holler at us at info@onehood.org. Also, you know, we haven't done our blackmail segment in a minute. But if you have commentary about what we talk about, info@onehood.org. Send us your questions, send us your commentary for blackmail. Shout out to all those that watch us. I was at Free Speech TV last week. Had a dope interview, so shout out to them. That should be out soon. Anything else happening?
Yes. I just submitted my Tiny Desk submission on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So if you search treble NLS Tiny Desk, run those views up, comment, even if you hate it. Leave a comment about how much you hate it. It helps me. You know what I'm saying?
But you know they're not going to hate it. It's great. It's great. It's great. Yes. And didn't you release a video as an artist?
Yeah.
Okay, so Farouk released a video. He doesn't care to talk about it.
Oh no, yeah.
Or say what the name of it is. Doesn't care if y'all watch it or not.
Man, that was funny. Now I released a video, song out called "Big in the Bait Hoodie," produced by my best friend Chin Beats, who had passed from cancer last year. So we doing a posthumous run with a whole bunch of Chin records. So long live Chin Beats. Video out on all DSPs. Song is out on all DSPs. Big in the Bait Hoodie. Yeah. Long live Chin Beats.
Absolutely. So with that being said, final words.
Why are men a part of solidarity?
We shouldn't be.
We're trying, Miracle.
No, we're not trying. I'm not trying.
I just want the men in Philly. Like, if you're a man in Philly, just hit me up.
Those are probably the worst men.
Jalen Hurts.
They're the best.
Come on.
Those are the most like
Jalen, Kendrick,
you. They're way worse than me, Miracle. They make women walk 5 spaces behind them. Like, what? That's what you want?
Okay, what we're not going to do is just classify all Philly black men having a particular ideology. That is not the case. Okay, shout out to Jalen, shout out to Kendrick.
Tattoo. That's what I want.
Okay, yes.
You know, just send that. Let's pray for that.
If you're watching this in Philadelphia and a black man and you have a neck tattoo,
the Salafi message.
info@onehood.org. Send us your profile.
Speaking arrangements. Finding Miracle.
Oh wow, yes.
Finding Miracle.
Wow. Okay.
It's crazy.
Trouble.
Never lose sight.
Never lose sight, sir.
Jesus Christ.
Valentine's Day messages.
Why you put my shit out there like that? The end. We're out.
Peace.